How y'all doing? What we're going to do is we're going to go over how we actually started this homestead from the very beginning to days, okay? Now, it's already established now and everything else. We're just going to go through all the steps. It's kind of a long story because it took a while, especially when you're broke. So check it out and follow along. Let's see how we did this. So basically, at the very beginning, we were living down in Charleston and my life went to shit to a certain extent. So I was living with Mom there for a while. Well, at this point, I was living with Mom, and she was living in, we were like in the efficiency apartment, and we started looking around for a place to buy, just a piece of property, undeveloped, nothing on it at all. We was hoping to be something, but either way, there wasn't nothing on this one. So we looked around. I mean, we drove all over the doggone place, and we even looked at houses to check out and see if, we wanted to buy any, and they were just too far gone, too much money. It was just way too much money for these junk houses that basically need tore down. And we started that's when we started looking at properties and stuff, and somebody Mom worked with had a piece of property up here where we're at. So we come up here and we looked at the thing. There wasn't nothing we could do with it. I'll show it to you here in just a few minutes. So, well, yeah, let's go on over to it. I'll show it to you. And this is a little side road that comes from my place and goes up the holler right here. So I'm gonna drive on up here and show y'all. Now this is there we came up to look at and was having problems because it ain't been surveyed, figuring out exactly where it came from. This hill is pretty steep over to your left, but right here, there's a story behind this one. This will be on my other channel, y'all. So this one is enough room to put a camper. I guess you could put something real small here, but I couldn't do nothing with it. There's no way I could get a septic line in here. And as far as running electricity, it would have took a lot more. Would have cost a pretty good bit of money to go ahead and run electricity up the rest of the way. Now it does have a nice little view right here, other than all the garbage that they left here. But I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong. It's just for a livable place over there on the other side of the road. I'm just gonna spin this around real slow so y'all can see it all. You'll see how come I couldn't use it. And I had to run the water line all the way up here also. So whenever we bought the place on down there, or whenever we bought our place, we looked at this place first and we drove by down there and I was like, man, if we can get that, I can do something with that. It'd be nice if I had before pictures, but you see how heavy the brush is in here. Other than I don't see a lot of vines. Our place down there, I'm gonna show you beside of it, of how thick it is, but ours was for some reason the worst. It was like it slipped there and everything growed in there. Vines, all kinds of stuff. So basically, we wrote that guy, and I think he lived in North Carolina, north or south, I think it was north, and wrote the guy that owned the property and gave him an offer, and he took it. The offer was $8,000. Now, remind you, there's no water, no electricity, no septic, no nothing there. So we're like, okay, we'll go ahead and do this. And I wasn't working nowhere at the time. So they gave me all kinds of free time to start getting this place cleaned up. But the main problem was it was just me trying to do this. Mom was working down there and we got a loan. Oh, that's another thing I gotta mention. My aunt was going to leave the house down there she was living in for Mom. So that's how we got the loan, because both of our credits sucked as far as making money. Didn't make enough money to get a loan. Just, you gotta have good credit and money to get a loan. But we didn't have that, so what we did is we got a loan on that house there and talked her into letting us do that. So we got the loan there. We got $8,000 for this place, okay, that we're at right now, which is 4 3/4 of an acre, and that's the same thing this was supposed to be, but it wound up being 4 1/4 after it got surveyed. And we got up here, started clearing the brush. I think it took me 3 months And the main thing was I started piling up all the brush and cutting it and burning it right there. We had some wind come through, a pretty decent little storm, and it tried to take off the fire, and I had a heck of a time trying to put it out. I got it out, but there was a neighbor that lived right beside of us, like right up the hill, and I drive by it all the time. They ain't there no more. But so they had their water line also there, so I had to contend with, which was a little bit of a pain. And so 3 months of pulling this stuff out of here, cutting it out away from the power lines, because I couldn't get the power company to get Asplin up here quick enough to get us in within 3 months. So I keep on calling. I'm like, man, I'm cutting these trees off the lines. I was like, I'm pulling away, roping them and everything. I was like, you know, I don't know what to tell y'all. Y'all need to hurry up and get up here, because I ran out of trees, so I'm pulling them off the lines right now. So I'm roping these doggone things, and I didn't have none of them touch a line. I had a couple on the neutral side. I can't remember which one's neutral. There's the top or the bottom, I don't know. But either way, I had a couple of them touch that. We had one that was tangled up in it forever. Even when the tree company come up here, they left a nub of it still in there. And this stuff was mainly vines. Now we had 2 gigantic sycamores right across from it, but we wound up cutting them down. Buddy of mine helped me cut them down. We got them out of the way. Let's back up a little bit, okay? That's on the other side of the road. Let's start on the side where Mom's place is, because that's what we started with. And so we got a little S10 extended caps, and they're pulling all this stuff out, going to my buddy's next hauler over. And I'm sitting there doing all this by myself. I mean, I'm throwing it as far down the hill as I can get it into a brush pile. And then I take all that. I might have to throw it 2-3 times to get it off the area where I need it, because I can't get the truck in there yet. So I'll just keep on stacking it, ratchet strap it down. By the time I was done with that poor truck, its sides were broke. I mean, they're just flapping in the wind. So wound up having to get another bed for that truck and put it on later on after the whole project was done. But not counting that, I was also hooking my fuller to some of these bigger trees, upwards of 10 to 16 foot max sections. And I'm sitting there just honing on that fuller all the way up into 3rd gear and just cracking on it with a rope. And that rope would rubber band my butt. I mean, I'd go flying down with it, and then all of a sudden it'd bounce and pull me straight back. And then I'd hit it again, and it'd do it again. Finally, a lot of the times the log would start taking off after a rubber band and bounce me back, and then all of a sudden I hit the gas and it'd start moving the log, you know? So it'd break it free. Worked pretty good. Got a lot of them piled up down here where the garage is now, but they're gone now. They done rotted. The weird thing was they tried to grow. I mean, they had poplar, sycamore, everything was trying to grow, little sprouts sticking out of it and everything. And that lasted down there for, I forgot how many years. But finally got all that out of here. That was very, I mean, I don't know if y'all know what a rear devil come along is, but them big old metal things, I was climbing up these trees. I'd wrap a chain in this tree, not up high either, just as high as I could reach most of the time. I did borrow Buddy's climbing gear, and I climbed up a little ways. So I put a logging chain in that tree, then I hooked that red devil come along to that doggone thing, and then I'd run it on down, find another tree, had a 100-foot cable, had a 50-foot cable, and I think a 25-foot cable. So I'd run to whatever tree I could get it, but I'd have to hook that thing, hook the cable to the let me get this right, hook the cable to the chain, and then I'd have to either hook up another cable, or I'd hook that one straight to the come along, and then I'd hook another chain around another tree or another cable, but mainly chain was around the second tree because I had to be low enough to come along it. So I'd come along that tree over, cut a wedge in it, and I'd get that booger, you know, pulling on over and get it down there. And got them all down. I mean, it worked good with that red devil come along. I didn't have no rup come along, didn't have none of that. This is just what I had. I'd done a trade a long time ago for that red devil come along and all the cables I just got over the years and the chains. That was an interesting story there. I'll tell you, that was an interesting time. 3 months to clear that by myself, no help. The bad thing is, I'm probably going to end of this video, y'all. I'm only doing 10-minute videos at the max because my internet takes forever to load. So, I mean, it's going to take, I don't know how many hours just to get this 10-minute video on there. But follow along, whatever y'all want to do. If y'all interested for the next story, there's going to be a bunch of them, okay? So just follow along, one a week, hopefully if you're lucky, because I'm also doing other things in between. So y'all enjoy, have a good day, and we will see you all on the next one.